To better understand what's happening in and around Big Bend, we're bringing in Marfa Public Radio's Travis Bubenik. He and his colleagues have been doing lots of work covering what's happening in Big Bend. Travis, thank you so much for being with us.
Happy to be here.
So Travis, let's start with the work that was happening recently in the national park with bulldozers and construction equipment clearing some land. What do we know about what those crews were doing?
Well, federal border agencies initially described it as survey and design work, basically prepping the long border project job that they're going to be working on. But what we saw on the ground, and in our case from the air, we actually flew over the park recently and saw some of the work, is that they were clearing new paths, clearing land, clearing vegetation in a couple places of the park near the iconic Santa Elena Canyon. And what it looked like on the ground was essentially the bulldozers clearing new roads. And in both cases that we saw, these new roads, new pathways were right next to existing roads.
And to be clear, current plans do not call for a border wall inside the national park, right?
That's right. I mean, at least according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the CBP has said for months now that they're not building a traditional 30-foot steel tall bollard border wall. You know what people think about when they think about border walls. Instead, what their plans call for are around 200 miles of new or improved roads, dirt roads that Border Patrol agents would use. They call these patrol roads, but also 17 miles of steel vehicle barriers. These are shorter, 4 to 6 foot tall steel barriers that look like a mini wall, kind of. They're designed to stop vehicle crossings. Although we should note, in many of the places where these are planned in the park, there's hardly, if ever, been any cross-border vehicle traffic that we know of, but that's what the agency's current plans call for. And I should say, along with surveillance technology, visitors to Big Bend National Park, if and when this project is complete, could see a lot of new surveillance towers and cameras along the routes where they're planning this infrastructure.
Have we heard anything yet, though, from CBP Commissioner Rodney Scott about what comes next, or from the local leaders he's been meeting with about how their conversations are going?
We haven't heard anything from Scott directly yet, although we did see on Monday in a court filing in a lawsuit over all of this, a representative for CBP confirmed that this pause on construction in the national park will last at least through the end of August. It's unclear what happens after that, but there are court battles playing out. The last word we heard from Scott is that he, met with all these local leaders, took their suggestions back to Washington, and is mulling them over, basically.
We'll have to stay tuned for further word on that. And Marfa Public Radio during all this has told the stories of people opposed to the work happening in this region, people affected by the work happening in this region. What are some of the biggest ways they say these projects will threaten this area?
I think the most pressing one for many people, especially those in the Terlingua area close to the national park, is the threat of impacting tourism. I mean, tourism is the economic lifeblood of the region, really, these days. And people are very concerned that, any sizable amount of new border security infrastructure out here could simply ruin the experience for people who come and visit this region for its, pristine, untouched nature. And they worry that people might just stop coming out here once we have this kind of border security in here. So that's the most pressing concern. But, there are a whole host of environmental, ecological impacts that people are worried about as well.
Indeed, and this issue has uniquely galvanized Texans on both sides of the aisle to come out in support of Big Bend. It is truly our gift to the nation for a reason. Travis Bubenik with Marfa Public Radio out in West Texas. Thank you so much for your time today and for your continued reporting.
You're so welcome.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment below to let us know your thoughts on this video. And don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Austin Insight for free in the PBS app.